Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and welcome to the PublishU Podcast, where we feature the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, I'm really delighted to be joined by Gail Gany from Brighton in the United Kingdom, who has written a book, The Beauty in Unraveling. Gail, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So please introduce yourself to our PublishU community of listeners and watchers. Tell us a bit about you personally and professionally.
Hi. Well, I'm Gail, as you said. I am in Brighton, but also in London. Lived here all my life. Um, how can I make myself sound interesting? I
You
am.
are interesting. You don't have to try.
I'm a mother of four children. I'll probably lead with that because they seem to be the defining parameters in my life, if you like. And now grandmother to five grandchildren. So yeah, they make me try to be the best version of myself, if you like, and have given me my, I use the word parameters, but given me my boundaries and my raison d'etre, if you like, all the way through. So whether that's been driving my business decisions or my personal decisions, it seems to me that they have been my steadying hand.
Wow, that's a beautiful way to put it. Your four children, five grandchildren, the guiding, steady hand of all the decisions you make. I love it, love it, love it. And professionally, what have you done professionally with your career so far?
So it's been a journey. I started out as a civil engineer, so graduated. I went down the very conventional route,
Mm.
graduated, worked for a large agency in London, and then got the travel itch.
Oh,
Most of the
yes.
people, yeah, most of the people I was working with were from Australia, and I was 21 and young and anxious to see the world, not be locked into Fitzroy Square in London. So yeah, I made a decision to do one of these under 26 visas to Australia at 22 years old and packed a case and never looked back. So that was what I did. And then professionally, that has taken me into many different areas over the years. I went out of engineering eventually into sales, into hospitality, into restaurants. And then the last 20 years, essentially, I've been more business focused, working with small startup companies, private, public sector, and sort of forming a bit of a niche in that area.
Fascinating. There we go. And in the midst of all of this, when did you first think I might like to write a book one day?
Yeah, well, I think probably like most people, people say, oh, you should write a book because everybody's got interesting lives. I find the more you talk to people, everybody's got a story and a personal story. And I had
Yeah.
been told that many times over the years, oh, you should write a book because if I go back to when I headed off to Australia when I was 22, that's essentially the era that I'm writing my book, where I left England. And the book is a 10-year cycle until I return to England, just 10 years. It's a very deeply personal memoir of those 10 years. And
Mm.
the reason people have always said to me, you should write a book is because in that 10 years, I left England sort of as a naive 22-year-old, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and returned definitely older and wiser, returned with children in tow, all kinds of challenges in my personal life, having lived in one, two, three, four different countries, three continents. So quite a lot was packed into 10 years. So obviously, over the years, when you're busy raising children and working, you haven't really got time to think, oh, I think I'll sit down and, in my spare time and write a memoir because there
Yeah.
is no such thing. But as I've got older and had a bit more time and met you, actually, quite frankly, I thought actually maybe this is the right time to sit and reflect and put some
Mm.
thoughts down.
Was it Soho House we first met?
We met at a restaurant in Heddon Street at one of the Adorian lunches.
Adore him. Adore him. There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wrong club. Uh, there we go. And so we met, had a conversation, and it kind of sparked off the
It
kind
did.
of the thought
In
of
fact,
writing this book.
you and I didn't meet. You sat next to my son at that very one of my sons at that lunch, and he told me about meeting you and how interesting. And Mum, you should really do this. So that was when I picked up the phone to you. And it yes, it just made me think. like a lot of people, you want to write something, but where do you start? I had literally had no idea. I know I had my story, but I didn't know where to start or how to frame it or anything. I didn't know anything.
Mm,
And so to have some structure and some advice from day one with the sessions that you put on
mm,
uh, was really good for me. In fact, one of the in the very first session, you asked why are you writing a book?
mm.
I thought that that was probably the best question you could ever ask, because it made me think, why am I why am I right? Just because people have told me to, or
Because my son said I should.
yeah, exactly. So it did make me really think. And actually, my reason for writing a book is to set a record for my children. A lot happened in their lives when they were in it, but very, very young. And all of that has impacted their lives and how their lives have turned out, if you like. And I thought it would be really good for them to know me as a person,
Mm, mm,
and how everything all the decisions I made that impacted them, they
mm,
could understand.
mm,
So
mm. Well,
that
we're
was,
going to come to that in just one moment because I can't wait to chat about your book, as in what's in it. Um, but if there was one obstacle that you began the journey with, what would you say it was, Gail, and how did you overcome it?
yeah, it's a good question. I mean, there's physical obstacles of carving out the time, making the sessions and all the rest of it, which requires, structure and dedication.
Yeah.
Those are easy. You can do those. For me, the obstacle, not really an obstacle, but a challenge,
Mm,
was the emotional challenge of writing it. I had no idea of the emotions and the rawness, if you like, if that's a word, that would arise from delving back into my past, and trying to remember things in the correct order, in the correct way, trying to be objective but still keep my emotion in there. What I didn't understand was how I'd remember things I'd forgotten for years. It just
yeah.
triggers.
Yeah.
And also how difficult writing about some of my personal challenges was going to be for me. It was tricky.
Mm.
Yeah,
Because if you're going to be real like you've been, some of those things they bring back some of the emotions around the experiences, don't they? Good and bad.
they
And
do. And
that
and it,
that
and it comes out of nowhere. It rises in you. It comes. I could be sitting here now talking to you, and it'll hit me. In
mm,
fact, in our very last session, that's what happened. We were all eight of us on the call, and we were all like signing off. And I got fully emotional for the first time, and I didn't know where that came from, but I think it is. It's just a build up, a build up.
mm, mm. Well, maybe we'll come back to that. Let's dive into the book, The Beauty in Unraveling. I just love the title of your book, Gail. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
just fabulous. It just feels like so inviting and like, oh my goodness, I'm going to actually read a book from a person that's not sorted like me, completely sorted like me. And, it's going to be encouraging, and there's somebody else saying me too. So that's what I get when I hear your title. So tell us, what's the heart of the book? What is it you're trying to say and communicate at the heart of your book?
I think the heart of the book, again, another question that you asked was what are you trying to achieve from this book? So apart from setting a record, I think everybody faces challenges in their lives, and nobody can judge which are more difficult challenges than others. It's all about us as individuals and how we are able to manage them, and what our capacity for hurt and betrayal and all the rest of it is. Some people can manage these things much better than others. So if anything, I'm not a famous person. I'm just an ordinary person who's gone through, some trials and tribulations. And I would like to think that my book could help
Yeah.
other people in my position. You don't have to be hugely famous or have massive challenges. Little things can knock us off balance.
Mm,
Um, so I would like to think that my book offers some hope and some inspiration. Um, the title comes from, yes, you can unravel. Things can look bleak, very bleak, but that's where you dig deep and you grow. And that's when you dig deep and learn life's hardest lessons. And hopefully you can put those lessons to use when
mm,
challenges come your way. So it's a book about growth and survival, but not, yay, I triumphed. Definitely not at all.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, would you be willing to share with us one of the moments in your life where you felt like things were unraveling for you? And how did you cope at the time? And looking back, what did you learn?
I think oof, it's delving right into the heart of the book, really. Um, I think I was about 30 years old. I had two young children. I was living in Puerto Rico with my husband. I was pregnant with my third child, and life was throwing me a few curveballs.
Mm.
And but I was reading it all wrong. I was reading it all wrong. Life wasn't going, without giving away too many spoilers.
Yeah, yeah.
I I was thinking that the challenges were because of X, Y, Z. It
Mm,
turns out they were because of A, B, C over here, completely different. So when the day, and it was a moment, it was a day when I understood it was actually this, not this, where the
mm,
challenges were coming from. Uh, Literally, the ground gave beneath me. So
mm,
how did I cope with it? Well, probably in that moment, not terribly well. Then it was a case of rebuilding from there. But
mm.
I mean, if that's not too cryptic, that's how I would answer
No,
that
but
one.
it makes us want to read the book more, doesn't it? I mean, that's
That's the
great.
plan.
We all want to know what happened when you were 30 years old. Um, and I love the way that you're so real about, you know, the ups and downs of life, and actually even the downs don't always work out. This is reality, isn't it? And
It is.
it's kind of it's easy to say this, but it's kind of it's nearly irrelevant where we end up. It's just how we embrace the journey along the way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. And it is a
and
journey. Every single thing is, I'm at a stage in my life now where I hate the word retired, but I'm not working as hard, and doing most of the work I do is in support of my children's businesses. They're all off and running, I've firmly handed the baton over.
yeah.
But I don't see this as I've got here. I see it very much as I'm still on the journey, and I'm still learning stuff all the time. And because of this book, actually, I'm reflecting a lot more about the past and reflecting about mistakes I've made. A few years ago, I would have said, "Oh, I think I've done a pretty good job being a parent." I would have patted myself on the back and thought, "Yeah, I've done okay." The older I get, the more I realize how many mistakes I made, how I could have done things differently. But now I can actually discuss that with the children, who are not really children anymore. They've got children of their own, so it's relevant to them. Um, yeah, it's good to be humble.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Absolutely. And for your children, you've written it as a record, but it's a bit more than a record. It's kind of like it's like a letter from your mum to your kids. Like, here's my, I don't know, if you were going to listen to me, here's my guidance type thing. Share with us one of the gems of guidance that you're trying to pass through your book to your kids, would you say? I mean, you probably already passed it, but you're probably re-emphasizing it to them. And what is it?
Well, it's a really interesting question, actually, because four children, four very individual people. They're not just my children, they're four completely individual, different characters. And they've all read the book, and they've all loved it. But they have all given me completely different feedback from it, in terms of what they got from it. So one in particular, I'll just give you one. One of my sons was not that keen on, not, I wouldn't say not that keen, but he's very business focused. He's very ambitious. Children, he says, I'm a great uncle, I'm not sure about having any of my own, and all the rest of it. And he did say, after reading the book, and I'm guessing reading the emotion that came through a number of times in my story, because I actually put in it, I think my children saved me many times.
Mm.
He said after reading that, he can't wait to have children of his own. So I thought
Wow.
it was really great feedback from one child. but I'm not trying to give that story. That's what he got from it. So yeah,
Mm. He can't wait to come have his own children. Wow.
yeah, because I think reading between the lines, he could see the depth of emotion, the relationship that is hard to achieve in any other kind. It's a different relationship, a parent and child.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So what is your hope for your book, Gail? Just last couple of questions in the interview today. What is your hope of what the book achieves?
Um, I've obviously got my little list of all the people I've been chatting to over the last 6 months, and they all keen to read it. And that list is, all the people in my life and my children's lives and their friends and all of this stuff. So I'd like a lot of people to read it who are close to me. I'm not doing this as a commercial venture, so to speak. I'm doing it as a personal project. Having said that, there's been all kinds of like nod, nod, wink, wink. This would be great television. So it would be quite fun to see it come to life and be, I don't know, a little Netflix series or a little
Yeah.
little film somewhere pop up. That might be, that's just me musing really.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And what is it you hope the book does for you personally? Or has it already done what it's going to do for you personally?
I think I'm looking forward to getting all the feedback from different people. And of
Mm.
course they're going to be nice because they are, aren't they? But you can read between the lines of that. I would say it's already done. The writing, it was so cathartic for me. And I had no idea. I didn't go into it as a therapy project, but it turned out
No.
to be one. And I recommend to everybody I talk to now, if you've ever thought about writing a book, do it. That's what I've got from it. It's because you can't even explain, I can't explain how many ticks I got from it in terms of, emotional satisfaction, fulfillment, um, erasing old demons, lots of stuff. So that'd be my recommendation to pass on to really anyone.
Mm-hmm. Powerful. I'm actually going to ask a cheeky last question. What is one of the demons that you felt this book helped deal with for you? I'd love you to be specific.
Uh, that's a really hard question. Let me just have a little think. One of the
Mm.
demons. I mean, at the end of the day, it is based around a colossal failure of a relationship that I read completely wrong. Um, and the pain that came from, you know, the extreme behavior in that relationship. And so I think writing about it, I was able to somehow stop blaming myself for it. I think that would be one of the demons. Take responsibility for my part, yes, but to stop blaming myself, I think it became very, very clear that I was
Mm.
in an uncontrollable situation, and I think that that's really helped me.
Mm. Oh my goodness. God, do you know what? If it was only your 4 children that ever read the book and your 5 grandchildren when they're old enough, if it's done that for you, actually, it's already achieved more than you could have imagined.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so, and then it will pop up on, book to screen opportunity somewhere. Let's see. But
Let's
thank
see.
you. Thank you, Gail, so much for joining us today. And thank you all for listening to the PublishU podcast, where we feature the genuinely real stories of authors from around the world. If you're interested in becoming an author like Gail, please do visit our website, publishu.com, publishu.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you all for joining us, and goodbye for now.